Witch on a broom, she's casting doom, twist and beauty.
Emily arrived at her grandmother Margaret's old house in Ravenwood. The house had been empty for years, covered in dust and silence. Every creak of the wooden floor echoed like a whisper. Emily took a deep breath and stepped inside. The air was cold, carrying the faint smell of old books and damp walls. "Feels just like I remember," she whispered to herself. The house was filled with family photos, faded and cracked with time. In one of the bedrooms, an antique mirror stood against the wall. Its frame was blackened, carved with strange symbols. Emily brushed off the dust and looked into it. Her reflection stared back, pale and tired. But something felt wrong. The air shifted, the lights dimmed slightly. Behind her reflection, a faint shadow moved. Emily turned around. Nothing. She looked again, and the shadow was gone. "I'm just imagining things," she muttered. That night, she stayed in her old bedroom upstairs. The house moaned softly with every gust of wind. She tried to sleep, but the silence felt alive. Around midnight, she heard soft tapping. Tap, tap, tap from downstairs. Emily sat up, heart pounding. The sound came from the room with the mirror. She grabbed a flashlight and crept down the stairs. "It's probably just the wind," she told herself. The tapping stopped. The air felt heavier now. Emily slowly opened the door to the room. The mirror reflected only darkness. She stepped closer. A faint whisper came from the glass. "Emily." Her heart froze. "Who's there?" she whispered. Silence. She turned the flashlight directly on the mirror. For a split second, she saw a figure standing behind her reflection. A tall shadow, motionless. She spun around, nothing. "This can't be real," she breathed. She ran back upstairs and shut her door. The next morning, sunlight filled the room, making it feel normal again. Emily tried to convince herself it was a dream. But when she went back downstairs, something was different. The mirror had moved slightly. It was no longer facing the window. It faced the hallway. "That's weird." She pushed it back, but the wood felt strangely warm. As she touched it, a jolt ran up her arm. That night, she heard whispers again. "Emily, come closer." She hid under her blanket, trembling. The whispers grew louder, clearer. "You can't hide." She couldn't move, paralyzed by fear. Suddenly, she heard a knock on her door. "Emily." She opened her eyes. The door was still closed. But in the mirror across the room, the door behind her reflection was wide open. The shadow stood there. "What do you want?" Emily whispered. The shadow tilted its head. The glass rippled like water. Emily's reflection started smiling, a wide, unnatural grin. She backed away. "No, this isn't real." Her reflection reached out from the mirror. The glass cracked under invisible pressure. Emily screamed and ran to the door. But it wouldn't open. The lights flickered violently. "Whisper." S surrounded her, coming from every direction. Stay with us." The temperature dropped suddenly. Her breath came out in white puffs. She grabbed a chair and smashed it against the mirror. The mirror shattered, but the shadow didn't vanish. Instead, dozens of smaller reflections stared back from each shard. Each reflection smiled the same sinister smile. Emily stumbled backward, gasping. "No, stop." The pieces began to tremble, vibrating on the floor. One by one, they lifted into the air. The whispers turned into screams. Emily covered her ears, but the voices echoed in her mind. "You can't escape your reflection." Suddenly, everything went dark. Emily opened her eyes. She was inside the mirror. The world was gray and twisted. The furniture looked the same but distorted, like a nightmare. Aiding on the floor. One by one, they lifted into the air. The whispers turned into screams. Emily covered her ears, but the voices echoed in her mind. "You can't escape your reflection." Suddenly, everything went dark. Emily opened her eyes. She was inside the mirror. The world was gray and twisted. The furniture looked the same but distorted, like a nightmare. The air felt thick, hard to breathe. Emily's reflection was now standing outside, looking in. "Let me out," she screamed, pounding the glass. Her reflection only smiled and turned away. "No, no." The shadows inside the mirror began to move toward her. They whispered her name over and over. "Emily! Emily!" She ran, but there was nowhere to go. Every direction led to another reflection of herself. Each one whispered something different. Secrets, fears, regrets. "You shouldn't have come back. It's your fault she died." Emily covered her ears, screaming. Suddenly, she saw Margaret's ghostly figure appear in the distance. "Grandma!" The figure smiled sadly. You must break the curse, Emily. How? Emily cried. Destroy the reflection that lies to you. The shadow emerged again, towering behind her. It looked almost human now. Its face was her own. We are the same, it said softly. Emily grabbed a shard of glass from the floor. No, you're not me. She drove the shard into the shadow's chest. The mirror world shattered in a blinding flash. Emily fell through the glass, gasping for air. She woke up on the floor of the real house. The mirror was cracked but still standing. The whispers were gone. Only silence remained. Emily got up, shaking. Her reflection looked normal again. It's over, she whispered. But as she turned away, the reflection blinked, without her. She froze.
Shadows circled Emily's name, whispering in the dark. You will see what lies beyond. The hollow house remained untouched for years. But sometimes, at night, the light inside flickered. People said they saw someone standing by the window. A woman, staring at her reflection. The police once broke in, but found nothing. Only the old mirror, still cracked. And a single handprint on the glass. It was fresh. Years later, a young couple bought the house. They found the mirror in the attic. It's beautiful, the woman said. Creepy, her husband replied, laughing. They hung it in the hallway. That night, the whispers returned. Emily. The woman froze. Did you hear that? Her husband shook his head. It's an old house. Probably the wind. But as they went upstairs, the mirror reflected movement. A shadow stood behind them. The woman turned, no one was there. I swear, something's wrong with that mirror. They decided to move it the next morning. But by sunrise, the woman was gone. The husband searched the entire house. In the hallway, he found the mirror, clean, shining, whole again. And in the reflection, his wife was smiling back. She raised a hand from inside the glass. Help me, she mouthed silently. He stepped closer, trembling. Sarah? Her smile twisted. The mirror rippled once more. The man screamed as hands reached out from the glass. Neighbors heard shattering, then silence. The house went dark again. Days later, police entered. The couple had vanished. The mirror lay on the floor, cracked once more. Inside it, faint silhouettes moved. One looked like a man. The other, a woman. Both smiling. And behind them, another shadow formed, taller, darker. The curse had begun again. The hollow house was sealed off, condemned, but locals still avoided the road at night. They said you could hear whispers through the fog. Emily. Join us. The voice came softly, carried by the wind. Travelers who stopped nearby said they saw lights flicker. And sometimes, a reflection where no glass existed. The legend of the shadow behind the mirror lived on. No one dared to enter Ravenwood after dark. The mirror still waits in silence. Watching. Reflecting whoever dares to look inside.